Alright, in today's video we're going to do a PCM reflash on a 2008 Chevy Silverado. This particular vehicle has a P2135 code for the throttle body. And there is a software update to resolve any potential issues with this code that we have determined that it needs. So first thing you'll do is log on to AC Delco's TDS website and sign in or make an account. It will make you scroll down the terms of use and you'll click accept and then continue. Then you'll have a few options on the screen there. You will select service and programming link. And then we're going to just select our service programming and we're going to access a subscription link that's right next to it. It's going to bring up some information for you to just click through, giving you some notes. It may be beneficial to read that if you've not read it before. So we'll click through this stuff. Now we have our options available here for security access and RPO code display and such. But we're interested in just reprogramming for this video, so we'll select that icon for SPS. Once that opens, you'll notice it gives you a little bit of information about using Java 32-bit software. Even if you were using a 64-bit operating system, you'll want to use the Java 32-bit. When you select Run SPS, it will download a file. My browser setup is going to prevent that from automatically opening. Yours may not. So if yours does, you just want to make sure that that file downloads and then opens. It is a Java application. Once that opens up, it's going to give you a couple prompts on selecting to run it or not run it. That's just Windows security. So you'll want to run that. It's going to download some library files to your computer and start running the SPS software, which will open up. Once it's open, it'll ask you to select the J2535 device you're using. I'm going to select my Bosch MVCI. There are two options, one for replacing and reprogramming and one for just reprogramming. I usually just select reprogram, but if you ever have a failure, clicking replace and reprogram may prevent failures from happening as the process is a little different. Whenever you select whatever you're going to use, click next down at the bottom. It's going to give you some instructions on setting the vehicle up for doing that. Like always, we just want to use a nice clean power supply and follow all instructions. We'll select next. It's going to ask us to select a sales make, as there are lots of sales makes underneath the GM umbrella that are serviced through the SPS software. This is a Chevrolet, so we'll select that. The year model of this one is 2008, although its production date is a little different. It is a light-duty truck. We'll scroll down and we'll select Silverado. It's going to try to communicate with the vehicle and pull the VIN information from that vehicle, which it did. If you're using this wirelessly, which you should not be, you would want to double check the VIN, but if it's the only JBox you have selected, the VIN should be correct. So we'll click next. And then we're going to select the module that we are going to be reprogramming, which is the engine control module. There are two options, one for normal, one for VCI. Selecting VCI is only to be done when you are directed to do so through a TSB or through a custom calibration from GM. For instance, if you were deleting the active fuel management in the vehicle, or it's a police vehicle, it requires a special software update. But that's the only time you would use that. So we'll select next. Again, it will communicate with the vehicle, particularly that module you selected. And it should bring up the box with all of our calibration options. So there are a few calibrations sectors inside of this module. You notice as you select through them, it shows a couple different options. It shows to the left what it has available, or what's available, and to the right what it currently has. Now, if we select down here on engine operation, we'll notice that the left side that it has does not correspond with current calibration. And if we look there at the bottom of the description, it did have the P2135 that it addressed, along with a couple other issues that this particular software update will address. So if we select next, it's going to give us a list of all the current calibrations in those sectors and what the new ones will be. Now I usually print this for the customer so they can see what they had and what they'll get and what the primary function of that software flash is. We'll select next whenever we're ready to do the flash. I'm just going to start downloading the file from the GM network, and then we'll start pushing that file to the vehicle. I'll fast forward through this process. You can see the elapsed time there. Most General Motors flashes on ECMs are pretty quick. After you're done, you'll get this screen here giving you some warranty code information if you're at a dealer and some other special instructions, which are the most important part. You'll notice it tells us that we may need to do a crankshaft position relearn. So I think it says with the Tech 2, but you need to make sure you have a capable scan tool when doing this. And it gives you the special instructions within that box. So we're going to clear all the codes. So we're going to select clear DTCs. Now it gives you no indicator that this is completed. That box that we just selected, notice it's gray. It will turn back to a selectable box once it's finished clearing the codes. Other than that, there is no indication that the process of clearing codes is completed. And that is pretty much the process. So again, when you're done, you want to get your capable scan tool and go through all the relearns that are required or any other special instructions that are given with this particular flash. All right, guys, don't forget to comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you'll get all the notifications when I come out with new videos. Thanks again.